Welcome back to 6 Minute Style. I'm Susan Doherty. We are just around the corner from summer and I'm excited because to me that means one thing: travel. I love traveling. It is probably my favorite thing in the world. We put together an episode this week with some great travel tips. You're not going to want to miss out on this one. Oftentimes when people are traveling, they dread going through security at the airport, but there are some tips that you can follow to make it a little bit easier for you and probably for the people standing behind you. First of all, know that you're probably going to have to take your coat off. If you're traveling during the colder months, you don't want to layer too many pieces of clothing because you're going to have to take off a lot of them. Other things, your belt. You probably want to take your belt off. Keep that in mind. Anything in your pockets that is metal, some pieces of jewelry, some coins will set off the alarms. Anything you can do to minimize that. There are small little trays there that you can put your stuff in, but again, put all of those heavy metal items into your carry-on. It's going to save a lot of time for you and for the people behind you. Another thing, in your carry-on luggage, you know you can only take liquids in 3-ounce containers. If you don't know that, you know that now. 3 ounces or less for aerosols and all of your liquids. They all have to be put in see-through containers and then put into a 1-quart plastic bag. That's right, it's just 1 quart. It's not very big. This is the size and it is 1 bag per traveler. Anything bigger that you need to take with you, put into your checked luggage, not a problem. Speaking of luggage, you can no longer lock your bags that you are checking through security at the airport. You need to leave them unlocked unless, of course, you pick up one of these locks that is approved by the Transportation Security Administration. These are about $11. You can find them at most luggage stores. AAA actually carries them. I picked this up there locally. So again, about $11. The trick with these is that there's actually a master key that all of the security agents have, so they can open your luggage if they need to perform a search. Another thing I'm going to reach over, talked about the 3 ounces. TSA, that is the Transportation Security Administration again, they have recently made some changes to their rules. So if you have prescription medicines, if you have breast milk or baby food or juice for a young child that is traveling with you, you are okay to carry those on in larger amounts than 3 ounces. You just need to make them aware of it. So you need to pull it out of your carry-on luggage again and make sure that they know that you're bringing these and they see the child or the prescription with your medicine. Okay, so we've gotten you through security, but we need to back up. You need a ticket to travel. So we have some great ideas of where you can get tickets and what time of day. That's right, there are days of the week and times that are better for buying a ticket. Wednesdays between 12 and 1 a.m. Yeah, you're going to stay up late and get online, but you know what? It's probably worth it. This is the window when airlines start releasing their tickets. Now the trick is to make sure you're looking in the time zone that that airline is headquartered in. So Frontier Airlines, headquartered in Denver, so it would be 12 to 1 a.m. Rocky Mountain time. Wednesdays, keep that in mind. Now another site that I really like, this is kayak.com. I use this pretty regularly when traveling because what it does, it pulls up all of the airlines and then Orbitz, Travelocity, all of the other search engines, and it gives you a comparison of prices and of times excuse me, so you can make a decision based on what works for you and your family. Hotwire.com, if you have some flexibility, you might want to check this site out. Now again, you won't know exactly the time you're flying, but you know the window. And this is one that's great for flexibility, people who have some freedom in their travel time, they don't have a business appointment they need to get to. Okay, passports, currency, and credit cards. I'm not going to hold my credit cards up. You know, it is the internet world out there. Listen, with passports, you're traveling internationally, you have to have these. There are passport offices all around the country where you can go in and in-person get signed up and get your passport ordered. We'll have information for that on our website. If you are renewing your passport, you can do it by mail if you have your old passport and it is in good shape. If your passport is damaged and or missing, you're going to have to go into one of the offices and do it in person. Now, as far as the timeline on your passport, some countries require, when you're traveling there, that your passport expiration date is 6 months beyond your travel date. So keep that in mind. For instance, China is one of those countries, and we plan to go there sometime in the next year. We have to make sure our passports have a good 6 months of padding on them. So check that out, and again, we'll have information on our website. Let's talk a little bit about currency. This is a euro, I was going to say $20, but it's not, it's 20 euros. It's actually worth more than $20, probably quite a bit more right now with the exchange rate. Before we went to Europe on our last trip, we actually went to our local bank and got euros, and I was very glad because when we got there, we needed to take a cab and we wouldn't have been able to pay them. So you want to make sure you get a little money in advance. In a smaller town, banks don't always carry different currencies, so they might need a week or so to order that. So you want to keep that in mind. Larger cities, you'll probably have no trouble. Let's talk about credit cards. Now, you want to do your research because you can use your ATM abroad, you can use your credit card abroad, but you will find different rates. Some banks will charge you a per transaction fee when you're withdrawing money. It could be $5, it could be $2. Then, if you use your credit card, you might get charged that ATM fee. You might also get charged a rate to exchange the money. Yeah, you get charged for the pleasure of spending in one currency and then switching it back to dollars. So go ahead and call. When we traveled most recently, we found our American Express card and our Wells Fargo ATM were the way to go. And speaking of currency, again, I go back to getting money ahead of time, because if you get into the airports, when you land, you can certainly exchange. There's tons of exchange booths there for currency. They're going to charge you an arm and a leg. It's much more affordable and practical to do it ahead of time and just carry a little bit of foreign currency with you. Now, another thing to keep in mind, if traveling internationally, different countries, different voltage for appliances. So if you're traveling with a hairdryer, a computer, a lot of camera batteries now are rechargeable. You want to make sure that you have the right adapter and converter for that country. Now, mine are pretty old. We were kind of laughing at them. I've had these forever, but you can just see by looking at these that they're very different from what we have here, plugging into different wall sockets. So again, you want to make sure you have those, and there are resources online. We'll connect you to some of them who will tell you what you need for which country you're going to, because it could be 220 voltage, it could be 120 in this country. Another thing we put together is sort of a care package for you as you're traveling onto the plane. Some of the things we think you should have: wet ones, handy wipes, always good. You know how many people have been on that plane and you're touching everything, your kids are touching everything? A stain stick, Tide to Go. We love this. It's easy, it's small, it fits right in your carry-on, and it gets out any stains you might get. Cranberry juice, yeah, I've done that on a flight before. Some vitamin C, I need this right now. And airborne, you could do one or the other, but you know, think about that recycled air on the plane. Eek! Lots of people coughing and sneezing. You're sharing air and germs with everyone. And then, of course, breath mints, just so you can freshen up. This has been a fun episode. We're gonna come back. Oh, chapstick, I don't want to forget that. Our sound guy recommended it and I'm addicted to it. Always good because you do dry out. Make sure you drink a lot of water on the flight. Dehydration, often a cause of things like altitude sickness and just jet lag. So you want to make sure that you're drinking lots of water. So now I'm going to close the episode. It's been a lot of fun. And as I was saying, we will come back in a few weeks. We're going to do a whole show on packing. That's right, ways to pack so you can fill up your luggage, get in as much stuff in there, but not wrinkle your clothes. That's going to be a great episode. This has been fun. I hope your summer travels are wonderful. I look forward to seeing you next time on 6 Minute Style. This week's quick tip, we want to send you off on your travels with all of the information you need. So go to our website at 6minutestyle.com. We will have information for cultural considerations. That's right, you're traveling to other countries. You need to know how they do things and how they react to things. Wearing a halter top and shorts, maybe not a good idea in parts of Europe, especially if you're visiting a church. So again, at 6minutestyle.com, we will give you information so you know how to dress, you know how to act, you know how to say please and thank you. Always a good thing to learn if you're traveling into another country. You should pick up a few pieces of their vocabulary so you can interact with them. Thanks so much for joining us, and again, happy travels. We'll see you next time.